There you go.
Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We've got Steph's candles lit in a heart-shaped
For the
thing.
video.
And also, Steph, I've got my pearl necklace. Look at that. Your thing, it's absolutely perfect. And this lipstick is my mum's. And I've kept it. And that's the lipstick I wear on videos sometimes. It's a really, it's a lovely shade, and she died in 2014. I know a lot of people will say, oh, you couldn't possibly keep a lipstick that long, but I've kept it. Anyway, all the same.
There you go.
We're having a nice evening chat.
We are. We'll be quite civilised. The kids are not here.
Oh, yes.
We're on our own. We've got the boat to ourselves.
Well, we've had all summer, haven't we?
Pretty
More or
much.
less.
Pretty much.
And that's been lovely.
We have flying visits every now and then, which is quite cool.
I just want to raise the subject that a few people have said, because you just said our boat, that I often say my boat.
She can have it. I don't want it.
Well, the truth of the matter is, it is my boat. It's my boat. It really is.
I'm the lodger.
Oh, really, Graham? It is. I mean, you.
Anyway, I think Prince Harry should be the governor of Bermuda. What do you reckon?
Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda. They can send it's British, you know, Bermuda. Yes. And they can send him there to be, because then he's halfway between Britain and he's halfway between America. And he's like in limbo, like the Duke of Windsor. He can just sit there and look out the window and dream of his free Range Rover and things. What do you think?
I love the way you just completely changed the subject to somebody I'm not that interested in at the moment. Harry.
Oh,
couldn't care less.
he's nipped off to Morocco, wasn't he, to help? No,
No,
Megan.
no, he
It's
hasn't.
Megan that's done that. She's popped into Morocco, to Marrakesh, to help save people on her way to the Irritatus Games.
They're calling it the Ingrifftus Games. Ingrifftus, because they're grifting. And they are. Off a charity. Do you know, about 4 years ago, we had a big family booked online to go on the dolphin safari, and the dad was a double amputee. His legs were really from just below the hip. Do you remember? And they had about 6 kids, and he was phenomenal. Because boarding can be difficult with disabilities. And he said, nope, please don't give me any assistance. I can do it all myself.
I remember him.
Yep. Yeah. And he boarded, and he sat at the back of the boat with his kids. He was so positive. He was just amazing. He was a fantastic guy. And I remember sort of thinking, and he was so fun with his kids and his wife, and they loved him and adored him. I don't know what the story was there. And for Harry and Meghan to even... Oh, the Netflix off the back of amputees. Me and Graham being big Douglas Bader fans. You know, it's sick, sick, sick. And I didn't actually want this video to be about Harry and Meghan. You're the one. You're a single purpose hating.
It was my idea.
Person.
It was my idea today that he should become the governor of Gibraltar. Not Gibraltar. We don't want him here.
Bermuda.
Everyone in Bermuda will be going, hey, we don't want him. You could have him. Don't be wishing him on us. Sorry, you brought the subject back to Harry.
We might have. No, I did not bring the subject back to Harry. I wasn't going to talk about Harry.
Idea.
I said that I frequently call this my boat. And a lot of people have said, why? Why did you call it your boat? Now, it was our money that bought it. Well, actually, it was ITV's money, wasn't it? They bought your footage of our time on the run.
That went towards it.
Yeah, it saved us, really, the £2,000.
We couldn't afford it all at once. We had to pay it bit by bit, didn't we?
Yeah, we paid...
So much a month.
Paid £5,000 for this boat. £5,000. Have a look around. You wouldn't believe it now. But I mean, oh, well, there's some of Faith's carrier bags there. But I mean, £5,000 we paid for this boat. That's cheap by anybody's standards, because the previous owner was
actually
desperate to sell.
It costs more than that a year in moorings.
And I distinctly remember you got video footage, because I was always the one that came up with these crazy ideas, like the Lexus.
Yeah.
I came up with a crazy idea. Let's buy some kind of car, like a limousine, and we can do wedding chauffeur thing, or like limousine stuff. So we've got this Lexus. It's here in the marina. Beautiful car, but it hasn't run for years.
Who can afford to run around in one of them?
Well, it's not just that. The water pump went.
The water pump seized up on it. Yeah.
And I made the suggestion.
Just never bothered to fix it.
Went to look at it, and you said, "Oh, I don't want a Lexus." And as soon as you saw it, you said, "I want it, I want it, I want it." So we got it, £1,800, and the same with the boat. We wanted to live in Gibraltar, and we were gonna sail Far Bend down. Do you remember?
Yeah, we were going to come through the French canals originally, the plan, but then the boat was too small. The family was getting bigger, so we sold the boat in Brighton Marina and bought this one.
Before we sold the boat, I said, well, let's just look, just for fun, because my mum and dad used to say, no harm in window shopping. And we came down and we stayed on the boat, and all the pirate shit happened. And the guy dropped the price. And you've got video of me walking down the stairs from the wheelhouse, looking at it, and I can see in my face, I'm thinking, oh my God. And you said, I want it. And you said to me, don't care if the engines don't run, I can fix any engine, I'll get them running.
It's just a nightmare.
What would you say to a younger Graham?
Don't bother trying to get the engines running.
You said, as long as the crank turns, I can get them running.
Well, we got that one turning up. Well, you did. Hitting it long enough. Then
I did, yeah.
Then we discovered, he said, oh, what? One runs and the other one doesn't. It only needs a blower kit, something like that. But
how did I
once we got the heads off, all the valves were bent and broken. One of them was even broken off.
They were
disintegrated.
They were completely disintegrated.
This thing had been thrashed to destruction.
Yes.
When
you say we got the engine running.
She did it, yeah.
How did I unseize?
She had a block of wood. We got the heads off, and then she put a block of wood and a lump hammer, and she kept hitting it and hitting each piston. It's a 6-cylinder V6, so she was there hitting each piston in turn until it started to move.
For how long?
Oh, ages. And then we had just turned it over on the starter motor, so it does spin over. And then we replaced all the valves in the head, rebuilt the head, put the supercharger back on. So that engine would have turned over, but the water pump at the back, there was like and it was just too stiff and it wouldn't turn once it was on. So I thought, I've got to start taking that off again. And we just never went back to do any more work on it, so it's just sat there. Just
to clarify, what I did was, it was after the storm, after the lawsuit. We'd moved here to Alcadesa Marina, and I did it barefoot. I felt I wanted to do it barefoot. I stood every night. This is while working full-time at Dolphin Safari in the height of the season, when we're at busiest time, longest days, from the 1st of July until the 31st or 30th of August. And I stood barefoot every night. I had that engine hatch up, and I went bash, 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 changing pistons, bash, bash, bash. Seriously, every night for 4 hours for 8 weeks.
I did help a bit.
No, I don't recall that part.
Yeah, I had a go now and then.
Did you?
Yeah, because I can remember, because the wood kept splitting, didn't it?
I don't think so, and I did it barefoot because I felt if I was standing on the pistons, I'd feel it. And just suddenly, towards the end of August, I went, oh, it moved. And he went, no, it didn't. And I said, yes, it bloody did. I felt it like an earthquake through
my
the
finger next to it.
soles of my feet. And no, you went, nah, bollocks. And I said, it did, it bloody moved. And then bit by bit I continued, and it did. They started to move. And then he connected the battery and it went boom, 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 boom. And the way I did it really was the rage I had against the supposed manager of Marina Bay who'd created the accident, the sinking of the boat, the squatters on the boat, the problems with the boat. Let's not say his name. And I imagined every time I hit that wood, it was his skull. And actually, you had to stop me from taking my lump hammer and actually doing his skull in at one point, as I recall. And you said, take it out on the engine. And so I did. I would not stop. And I was so elated when it turned. So one engine is unseized. But I don't have the same anger towards that particular individual anymore. So, of course, the port engine, which is also seized, thanks to him allowing, this particular individual allowing squatters on our boat, sink the boat, salt water, trash the boat.
Thieving.
Ugly, negligent twat.
Yeah.
Who I believe is
untrustworthy twat. And he was manager of the marina.
He was never the manager.
Well, he was
of
in
the
charge.
marina. So when people ask me why I say my boat,
he's not anymore, by the way.
That is why. Because although I was reluctant to buy this boat, I didn't think it was such a good idea. You did. I have invested blood, sweat and tears into this boat.
Well,
this is my boat. It is my boat.
Yeah. So you can have it. Thing is,
thank you, Graham.
It's a floating apartment, and you know, you just can't get an apartment in Gibraltar. It's just so expensive. You can't buy anything in Gibraltar. It's just super expensive. You won't get a one bedroom bed sit. I mean, over 100 grand for a bed sit, for sure. So for £5 this is a floating 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Plus we got to pay rent, and every month when we went up to pay the rent, they dropped the money on the floor. And then they went down to pick it up, and it's 80 quid short. Oh, is it? We've counted it 4 times before we brought it up here.
Yes.
You know
yes.
I mean? So
every time.
We had to pay by card in the end. They go, there, you can't thieve off that now, can you? Just put the amount in. Go on and check the amount.
Yes.
Every month
single time I went up there with cash.
They're all on the cocaine.
I would count it painstakingly, making absolutely certain. I'd even count the £20 notes. And every time this particular guy would go, oh, drop the money on the floor. Oh, 40 quid short. Every time. And after about...
But you know he's put it up his nose.
After about 3 times, I went, right, that's it. I'm paying by card. Which was a big deal. I mean, the squatters...
Which meant we had to walk up to the bank, pay our wages into the bank to go back to the marina to pay the marina the rent. But it was cheaper than paying them the money because they'll just lose it under the desk again. Oh, dropped it again. Sorry. Oh, you seem to.
And it was always £40 they wanted. Always.
So you know how much a bag of Coke is now, don't you?
Do you know that someone I used to know, who was a security guard in Ocean Village, said to me, he was like really fastidious. He said, that fella who works at Marina Bay is dealing cocaine. He's selling it through a fence. I saw him. I took pictures of it. He reported the guy to the police. Same guy who fucked us right over with his negligence and his God knows drug taking whatnot. And the police said to this security guard, if you don't shut the fuck up, you're the one that's going to be arrested.
Don't be saying things about my cousin.
Oh, God, so that's what we were up against. You know, we were two like innocent people from the UK, came down here, thought it was like normal. Of course, it's not like that these days in Marina
It was
Bay.
then. It was then.
It was then, most definitely.
We're going back 10 years.
A very, very decent human being took over the whole project on behalf of Ocean Village years, not that long ago. And the first thing the guy said to me was, I'm so astonished to find out that you're actually quite civilised, you and Graham, because I've been told you're bar brawlers and cocaine dealers.
The thieving lying smacker told me all this information. He wasn't telling the truth after all.
He was lying. Do you know, I recorded him. We had a hidden tape recorder one time. We had a meeting with this negligent drug-taking twat. And then the lawsuit started, and of course there's data protection, and you've got to protect the human rights of the offender, haven't you? And I met with their lawyer, and he said to me, my client never said la 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 to you. And I said, yes he did. And he said, no you didn't.
You're lying.
I said, yes he did. And he said, you can't prove it, because they'd already had a data protection row with me. He said, you can't prove it because you have already declared that you've offered up all recordings. And I said, well, I lied. I kept one back. And this lawyer had the front to say to me, you broke data protection law. And I said, doesn't matter. I caught him out lying. I lied because I know he's a liar. And yes, it was recorded. And I played the recording to him of his client saying exactly what I'd said to prove I was telling the truth. And he said, I'm going to make a complaint to the Gibraltar Regulatory Authority. And they came back at him and they said, well, Fiona's given you the recording. What she complained about? The fact your client got caught lying. Well, I think he's very, very ill these days. I mean, I see him and he's an absolute state.
That's just what drugs do to you, though, isn't it? You know.
Oh, I think he just
Long-term drug
drinks
abuse.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And cocaine is my least favourite drug. I absolutely hate it. Society in Gibraltar back then was absolutely destroyed by
You
cocaine.
can always tell when people are on cocaine because they just bounce around.
They think they're really intelligent and really good looking, don't they? They're full of arrogance.
Yeah.
Well, probably least said, soonest mended. But yes, I do, to come back to the point, I do feel this is my boat. I do. I didn't at first. I used to call her the Albatross. Do you remember? I used to say, let's fuck it off, change our phone numbers, pretend we never bought it.
Yeah.
I fought for this boat. You are more the house. The house is...
I'm quite happy.
No,
on
the house...
Now that we've got Starlink, I'm more than happy.
The house is more yours, but...
It's the pikey in me, you see. I like it's like a big caravan, isn't it? That's why I like it.
You never liked the boat before. You didn't. Not for years, Graham.
Well, that's because the internet was shit. But now that the internet's really good,
No, it's not just that.
I'm more than happy on the boat.
You're just not into her like I am. It's a love-hate relationship, me and this boat. I mean, she's like fought me all the way. Every step of the way. Not only her, that bastard, that negligent twat.
Yeah.
I don't...
Well, changing the subject from that, we can come back to that some other time if you want.
I never forget him, Graham. Every day of my life I think about him, especially the day of the storm when we were all nearly killed. And then he had the cheek to tell the lawyers that we were too busy sitting around smoking weed and getting drunk on the pier. And he kindly offered our children cocoa and blankets, and we refused. Of course, he wasn't bloody there. He wasn't there the day my friend Willie, the taxi driver, drowned in his marina. I told him about that, and he went, somebody died in my marina? And one of his other lackeys had to tell him the truth because he was off his tits on the
You'd
weekend.
never find him. Never find him. He was always in a pub snorting coke or something like that.
No life rings in the marina, no
All the
health and
rungs had
safety.
rotted off the ladder, and I took pictures of the ladder.
Still got them.
Sent them to the marina manager and said, "When are you going to sort this life-saving equipment out?" "Oh, I'm a troublemaker." He was brandishing me as a troublemaker. "They're taking photographs, they're putting them on the
Of
internet."
course, wound up by the narcissistic psychopaths who, by the way, were supplying his drugs. Oh, sorry, did I just say that? You were going to change the subject to something else.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. So Prince Harry's in Bermuda. No, he's in the Irritatus Games. And see how I brought that cunningly back to something else.
Some irrelevant twat.
I don't think Meghan is going to Morocco, And if she was, and she's there helping to pull babies out from under the rubble, like there'll be, what was it called, bat grid or something. Are we there papping her?
Those poor people in Morocco. And Libya's flooding.
Libya's flooding. Hong Kong flooded the other day.
Well, Hong Kong and Libya are quite far apart, aren't they?
Yeah.
But Libya flooding.
It must have rained.
What the fuck? Libya's only just across the Mediterranean to the left from here. Really?
That way.
That way.
Yeah, south.
I think
Well,
that way.
just east from here. East, south
About
a bit.
1,000
south a bit.
kilometres that way.
Yeah. Benghazi is in
Flooding in September.
Libya.
Anyway.
Tobruk.
Poor
Places
people
like that.
in Morocco. I really don't care about Harry and Meghan. Fuck
Don't you?
Harry. No, I don't.
Oh,
Fuck
she got a
Harry,
burger the other day. She did. She pulled up and she bought a burger. And some say she got a fizzy drink to wash it down, but it's unconfirmed
I can't wait for the
whether it
day
was Coca-Cola or not.
that the headlines call her out for the bullying. I can't wait for it. Anyway.
So what do you think of my idea of Harry being the governor of Bermuda?
I think if
Do
he's
you
going to
even
be
care?
if he's going to be governor of Bermuda, he should be right in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle.
Well,
And keep his wife there as well.
how do you think Bermuda got its name?
Don't know.
It would involve flying through the Bermuda Triangle to get there, I suppose.
But to be called the Bermuda Triangle, Bermuda must have been there before.
Well, it didn't move, did it? No, it's an island. It's off the coast of America, but it's
I know exactly where it is.
British.
I know exactly where it
British
is.
tax haven. That's where people who are very fabulously rich go to avoid paying tax.
But the heart of the Bermuda Triangle is between that and Florida, and
I think the
It's
triangle is between Florida, Bermuda, and maybe the mainland. I don't know.
something like that. And so in the heart of it would be in the middle of the ocean.
Well, Bermuda's in the middle
And
of the
I
ocean.
think that would be the perfect place for Meghan and Harry. Sod Meghan and Harry. Fucking pair of losers they are. As always, thank you very much for listening to our
You
ramblings.
can get involved with all the hardships of all the millionaires that live there.